Yeah, good to see everybody. Obviously, last week, 2 good wins for our basketball team. Hard-fought game versus UTEP on Thursday, and obviously a pretty convincing performance on Saturday versus New Mexico State. So 2 different kinds of wins, but probably both that can kind of help us move forward and hopefully give us a little bit of confidence as we make the turn here at the league and start playing repeat opponents. So obviously hope to carry some of that momentum, and hopefully we have can carry that to the court this week at Kennesaw and at Jacksonville State.
You're on a 3-game winning streak. In each one of those games, Don McHenry has not been in the starting lineup. Talk a little bit about the logic behind that and why that's been so effective for him.
The logic at Sam Houston State was just to try to do something a little bit different as we were struggling to just find a flow. I think Don had been playing well, but hadn't really been comfortable or maybe as efficient as usually is on offense. So I think as a team and for him, just trying to kind of get him going. And then once it's kind of been working, we just haven't changed it since. It's obviously had a great week. I guess it was Player of the Week in the league. We talked yesterday. I honestly don't know if he's going to start on Thursday or not. It's I think the point of doing it was to get us playing better and him playing better, and it seems like we have. So I don't know. We'll take it kind of day by day. But obviously the goal is for him to continue to play like an all-conference player and for our team to play like a group that's capable of winning the league. So regardless of what that looks like, I'm happy that it's gotten us going, gotten him going. He's obviously a champion in every regard, and I wouldn't trade him for any player in the country. So I'm happy that it seems to have worked, and we'll figure it out. I don't know how it's helped him get comfortable, but man, he came out those first couple minutes versus New Mexico State, and maybe they lose track of him a little bit. Maybe because it's a sub, they don't know where he's at, or maybe their matchups are different. I'm not sure, or maybe he's just kind of gotten in his groove. But man, he really got us going in the first half these last couple games, and I'm happy to see him playing well.
This little stretch here with Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State is where you really started to see this team really come together. That all leading up to the end of the first half. Now we're getting into the second half of conference play where you're seeing these teams again. What are you really hoping to see from your team on the road as you go back and play these teams again?
Yeah, we actually we just had a meeting here about 30 minutes ago, and we talked about how obviously playing repeat opponents and how there's a lot of experience in that room. So I don't need to, I said, shoot, guys, I don't need to tell you what it's like to play a repeat opponent. You've all been through this many times. Just because you beat a team in the margins, double digits at home, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to succeed the next game. Kennesaw is a very talented team, and they score at a high level. I think Liberty just went in there and won last week, and that's their first home loss. So, we just talked about how if you look at their home record, they're 10-1 or 11-1, and our road record is something like 3-6. So if you just look at those two, you know why winning on the road is a challenge. So we have been through this before. We know that just because you lose at one place, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to lose, and because you beat them, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to beat them. We played very well versus Kennesaw the first time. I thought we struggled versus Jacksonville State, and I really thought the improvement from the Jacksonville State game loss on a Thursday to the success versus Kennesaw on the Saturday is kind of what kickstarted us. Like I've said a couple times, I've been pretty pleased with our day-to-day effort and togetherness every day since. So hopefully we're more prepared. Hopefully we're in a place where we can continue to improve. Hopefully, Kennesaw's got 2 elite scorers in the backcourt. Jacksonville State has 1 elite scorer in the backcourt, but a couple other very, very good players. So, hopefully the experience and familiarity helps us a little bit, but we know that going on the road will be a challenge. So I think this last probably 7-game stretch has been good, but obviously we got a long way to go, and I think we certainly respect both opponents and know that we're going to have a challenge this week.
Like you said, you've been pleased with the play since that Jacksonville State game. What's been the difference for you guys, or how do you think these guys have been able to tap into that?
I think one of the biggest differences has been that we're not trying to be perfect on every play. So when something kind of goes wrong, I think we're moving on faster. It's a 40-minute game, and you're not going to score every possession. And even though we have a plan on defense, it might not work every possession. So if something doesn't work on defense, but Tyrone or Enoch sees it and they can go make a steal or a block, boom, they're making that play, and then we get the ball and we're able to go in transition. So I think just a staying in the moment, staying together. Our on the defensive end, we've been very connected and energetic, I think, consistently, and we probably were that Jacksonville State game too. I don't think they ran up a ton of points, but when they went on that run in the second half, I thought we were shook by it. When UTEP went on a run in the second half on Thursday, man, we responded very, very well and came right back and showed our strength and toughness. So just knowing that it's going to be a 40-minute battle, knowing that we have each other's backs, knowing that we are together in our goal to succeed and to win. And I think the players' actions have been, when a couple guys start showing that's what they're about, it's contagious. And now I think that we have a group that, all those guys, they know they're going to play, they know they're important, they know we can succeed, and they seem to be going above and beyond to help one another on both ends of the floor succeed. So just that togetherness, staying in the moment, moving on from whether something good happens or something bad happens, just staying in the moment and moving on to the next play. I think that's been the key to our defense, and I think that's been the key to our offense getting a little better. Somebody's open, we pass it to them. If it's one-on-one, you drive it. Like, not overthinking and overcomplicating things.
With you guys being one short rotation-wise, at least for this weekend with the short turnaround, do the other guys just pick up extra minutes? Do you have to work Dorsey in there a little bit more? How do you handle that?
Yeah, Jalen Dorsey's more than ready to play. Obviously, has played in some minutes here the last couple games, and I think that obviously we have a deep backcourt, and I think that we will, we'll see as the game goes on. But everybody that's dressed is ready to go, and I guess we'll figure it out in the flow of the game. But I know that Jalen and Braxton both have been 16 to 20 minute mark the last couple games, and they're certainly both capable of playing more than that.
Against this team, the first time, I think they were 8 for 41 for 3-point range, like 19%. Probably a little uncharacteristic, not a great three-point shooting team. But you feel like you can hold them to that again, or is it going to be a totally different game?
I feel like a lot of teams shoot the ball a lot better at home than they do on the road. So I don't think allowing them to shoot 43s is probably a recipe for success. I think that applies to us. I think that probably applies to Kennesaw. We were actually just talking. A couple of their players statistically have shot the ball way better at home. So I don't think we just want to. We certainly, Cottle and Woolley are elite players, and I think they shot about half of the threes the first game, and we definitely want to limit those. We can't give Braden Liu and Jamil Miller and the guard right off the bench. Those are guys that can get going, and throughout the year they have shot the ball better at home. So I think we need to be careful about being comfortable and looking at those stats, and we've got to make sure we don't let them get comfortable three-point shots.
When it comes to this time of the year, playing these teams already once, but like you said, playing at home is a totally different story while you all are on the road. How do you really go about scouting these teams now that you've already seen them?
Yeah, I think the one thing that you add is you add the game film from the first time. So obviously things change over 3 or 4 weeks, but you have an idea of how they want to attack us. You have an idea how they want to guard us, and on the flip side, they kind of have an idea of how we want to attack them and guard them. So there's just more. There's probably a little bit more studying of the actual game film. Obviously, even playing some of the other teams in the league, we do base last year's film. Kennesaw was a first-time opponent for us, so there was a newness to it. But I think now the players have familiarity with each other, and you certainly, I'm sure they're trying to figure out where they can improve from the first game, and we're trying to figure out what hurt us and where we need to be better going into this game. So you still watch their last couple games for sure, multiple games. They've had success, obviously. At UTEP, at New Mexico State. Liberty just got them at home, but they just beat FIU. So you certainly watch the last 4 to 5 games and prepare to see what the recent trends are. But I do think you base more off of the first game and just how the teams kind of match up.
It's the top scoring team in the league still, and top rebounding team too. What makes them so effective rebounding the ball?
Yeah, part of that, probably like with us, if you look at our total rebounding numbers, they're high, but their tempo is very fast. So when we play them, I think we're number 1 in the league in tempo, and they're number 2. So I think that when you look at total points or total rebounds, I think that their numbers are high. At the same time, part of that happens because of the speed of the game. They do want to push the pace. When they do get rebounds, they do probably, them and us are the 2 teams in the league that really just try to get it and go. And 1 through 4 can push the ball, and they'll throw it across half court, and we got to make sure our transition defense is really good. So, I thought we were pretty juiced up the first game, and we had lost to Jacksonville State by 22 on the glass, so I think we had a really good focus on rebounding in that game. We've got to make sure these last couple games we've been hitting some shots, and sometimes when you make shots, you lose a little bit of focus offensive rebounding because the shots go in. We've got to make sure that on both ends of the floor that that's an area that where we're successful, and I do think whatever team is more physical and has that aggressiveness and is able to get the loose balls and the rebounds, I would think that would certainly help be successful on Thursday night.
Seems like you guys are getting hot at a very good time right now. How do you try and keep that flame going as you try to go on the road?
Yeah, I think one of the things is we can't just rely on, we can't just think that we're going to make every three-point shot we take after Saturday night. I mean, we need to be prepared to succeed when our offense is good and we're scoring, and when our offense is struggling a little bit and it takes some work to score. I think our defense needs to hold. I think our rebounding needs to remain strong. I think we need to continue to have an approach and an attitude that everybody on the team, everybody that's playing, that hey man, we're putting winning first. You know, we're past. We talked the other day about how we came back. You know, a lot of the group came back this year, and obviously some guys are banged up and stuff like that. But man, we came back forward this time. We have 40 more days till Huntsville, Alabama. So I mean, this is, you know, you work 365 days a year, and here we're in kind of the home stretch of the calendar year. So if we're not going to put our priorities first and what we came back here to accomplish above all else, then what are we saying? What are we doing this for? So the guys have done a great job at kind of turning out of a little bit of a rut there in early conference season, and no doubt, I'd agree. I think they feel better. I think winning has helped our vibe and our momentum and our confidence for sure. But hey, just like in the course of the game, things aren't going to go perfect. We're not guaranteed to win every game. We know going on the road will be a struggle. We've just got to continue to attack it one play at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time, and continue to stick together and treat every day like it's the most important day.
Is there, what, a 6-way tie?
I believe it's a 6-way tie.
Yeah. This will be one.
I've never seen anything like it.
You get one of those other third-place teams, and then you get the league leader, Jacksonville. So chance to really, again, move up in the standings a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. I brought up the standings to the guys the other day, probably the first time all year, just because we're kind of at the turn and where we start playing repeat opponents. And I'm sure I see the 6-way tie, and I think to myself, it's crazy. At the same time, we have learned, I mean, FIU beat us. Like, we have learned that we can beat and struggle against anybody. I think we have respect for all 9 opponents in our league. I think our league is the 9th ranked league in America right now. Like, I'm not looking forward to, you know, as we get closer to the games, man, the coach in me gets nervous about every single one of these. There's no breaks. And I think we've started to embrace that and to relish that. So whether a team's tied with us or ahead of us, or take Sam Houston and FIU, the two that are behind us. You know, we played very well to be successful at Sam Houston, and obviously we got drilled pretty good at FIU. So I think we have a respect for everybody in the conference. I think there's a lot of great coaches and great teams, and I think the only way that you do succeed or move up in the standings is to make sure you stay focused on what's directly in front of you, and for us that's Kennesaw State on Thursday.
Starting those first 5 out of 7 games on the road, looking back, you know, at this point in the season, in hindsight at all, do you see any sort of maybe advantage that's given you up to this point, or just kind of schedule how the way?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's good that we survived it, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, when you survive a tough road stretch, and, you know, we finished with 5 of 7 at home. So after this trip this week, we have 5 of 7 at home. So if you're in pretty good shape, and, you know, and you have a majority of your games at home at the end, you know, it's probably a positive. You know, it's funny, our stretch, you know, we ended with 3 of 4 on the road last year. And in theory, you look at it all, you're on a 4-game losing streak going into Huntsville. But again, the schedule was part of that, you know, and how we responded to that struggle and adversity ended up being, you know, a huge factor in our success. So I think our group knows that there's ups and downs, and we know that if we stick together, we can come out on the other side of it. And it feels like we're in a better place now, certainly than 2 weeks ago. But I think we also know that nothing's guaranteed. So hopefully all the experiences that we've had together, you know, can prepare us to attack this home stretch. And yeah, while you know all those different things, like I said, you can win any road game, you can lose any home game. You better stay very focused on the task at hand. And mostly about last week, I was very proud that I didn't see any lack of effort or focus or togetherness in either game. I thought we treated both of those opponents with the respect that they deserved and played our best. And when you do that, you obviously have a good chance to be successful. Okay, thank you guys.